Hello and welcome to Lifestyle Hoppers. I'm your host, Lexi Dragan. Each week, we send Sarah and Andrew to a new country so that they can explore the lifestyle and culture. Then, when they return from their trip, we ask them to vote as to whether they can see themselves living like the locals. Remember, you too can join into the conversation by using the Twitter hashtag LifestyleHoppers. So, Sarah, Andrew, this week we ventured to Singapore. Tell me, what were your first impressions when we arrived?
The weather really hit me hard, hey. It was very different to home. You know, home there's the dry heat, you can sort of get out the way by going back home. Here it just follows with you, really sticks to you. It's very muggy and very humid, so it was very different.
I found the architecture and just the surroundings to be really different. You have high-rise all around you, and in Perth you can see where the skyline is right in front of you. But in Singapore, I didn't know when I was in or out of the city. So impressive, but a bit of a shock.
Sounds like a massive culture shock. Let's take a quick look in your time in Singapore. Wow, you sure have experienced a lot. Sarah, talk us through what you thought about the food.
Oh, I loved the food here, mainly for the variety. You have Korean, Malay, Chinese, all these different, foods from different cultures, and often all in the same place. These hawker markets, it's like a food court, but cheaper. And I loved those. I could eat them any time of day, and I couldn't get enough.
Sounds delicious and affordable. Andrew, what differences did you observe about the lifestyle?
I was actually lucky enough to go up to a friend's place who lives here in Singapore, closer to the city, and have a look at the apartment. And it was just insanely different, hey. Down back at home, you got the big backyard and the living area. Everyone has their own bedroom. In the apartment, there was 5 people in one room. You got your 2 bunk beds and then one in the middle, nothing else. So it's hugely contrasted.
That would take some getting used to. So how did you both find it financially? Andrew?
It wasn't too bad. What really stuck out for me was probably the nightlife. $30 to get into a place, $20 a drink. Pretty cool places, rooftop bars, but at what cost? It's a bit,
expensive.
Yeah.
And Sarah?
Well, actually, for the most part, I found it pretty manageable. Like I said about the food and transportation. Most people don't have a car, but what that means is that you don't have to pay for petrol or, for parking, and they make it really manageable with all the public transport around. So in a lot of ways, I found it really, really financially manageable.
Interesting. This is going to be a close call. Let's reveal the final vote, shall we? Wow, okay. Sarah, I see you've come to the conclusion of in. What aspects of the culture mainly influenced this decision?
Oh, there was so much. The food I can't stop raving about. The people, the architecture, and everything about Singapore. I just love.
You definitely make it sound like a great place. And Andrew, you're out. Was it a tough decision?
It was, yeah. For me, really, it was a bit claustrophobic. That was probably the standout point for me. It's a lot of people, high-rise buildings, very busy. I guess I like a bit more of my own personal space, so it's a bit of a deal breaker.
Wow, that's a great contrast. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Lexi Dragan. Good night.